Final result? 64 x cubed plus, that will be 8 times 16, which is what? 128 x squared, then negative 2. So finally here, this function, so we have like combination of transformation basically. You have vertical stretch followed by a translation. Okay? So vertical stretch means we multiply externally by the scale factor. Horizontal stretch is when we divide internally the scale factor. That might be a way to quickly remember. Alright? So for the vertical stretch, the function we need is g. Right? No. Yeah, this is the original function. Y is equal to 1 over x is the original function. The function we are dealing with here is g. So a, this is a, it starts here. So by vertical, or from the vertical stretch, right? From the vertical stretch, hopefully that's correct, g of x will be what? We'll multiply to the y. Okay, maybe we say let this be f, just to make life a bit easier. By the vertical stretch, g of x will be what? 3 f of x. Is that right? And that will be 3 1 over x, which is just 3 over x. So that's one transformation. The next transformation is, after we have done this, translate by that vector. Okay? So by translation with the vector what? 1 over 1, negative 1. Okay? F of x becomes what? F x minus 1 minus 1, right? So our g now, remember g is here. Okay? So this needs to be transformed into this. So rather than ordinary x, this is our new x now. Okay? So our g of x now becomes what? Yes, help me out. Only this part is affected. 3 over x minus 1 minus 1. So this is the function initially. Now it's been translated, which means our g is equal to this. No. Yeah. Our f of x becomes that. This is just in general. It is not like maybe the f of x we are dealing with. Don't get me wrong. So maybe I change the notation. By translation, any function h of x becomes that. Okay? So we don't mix things up. So, and that means our g will become this. So this implies our g becomes, I changed the notation, so we're not mixing it. Okay? Any other thing to be done? No. So we just simplify this. 3 minus x minus 1 divide x minus 1, correct? And that gives 3 minus x plus 1 divide x minus 1, which is what? I'll just say 4 minus x. Okay, it's in this form, coefficient of x first. So we have what? Negative x plus 4, then x minus 1. And that's all about the first one. So that's your y. No. This is the first one. The asymptotes, I think you can solve this on your own. We can get the, what is this one? The horizontal. That's x is equal to 1, right? And what about the vertical one? Do you remember how we did vertical one? Okay, so x minus 1 equals to 0, which means x is equal to 1 is the horizontal asymptote. Does this make sense? But for the other one, do you remember how we normally do it? Say that again. Limit. We can use limit. What's the first thing to do before we use limit? Louder, quickly. Into mixed fraction. Whole number, then proper fraction. Remember that? Okay, so quickly. So g of x, which is negative x plus 4, divided by x minus 1, can now be written as, we need this x minus 1 here, right? And this is a negative. So we're going to have negative bracket x minus 1. When you open the bracket, you get negative x plus 1. What do you need to make it this? You need to have 3, right? And this is x minus 1. So that would now be broken into yes? So which is negative 1, 3x minus 1, right? And as x becomes large, what does this g become? G approaches what? Negative 1, not 0. As x becomes large, right? G approaches 1 minus 1 plus 0, which is equal to what? Negative 1. So what is the horizontal asymptote? So y equals negative 1 is the horizontal. Oh, no. This is vertical. It's an error. X equals to 1 is vertical. Yeah. It's an error. So this is the horizontal. Okay? Please, you must always remember this stuff. So you can find the domain and whatever yourself. Remember the asymptote usually help us in finding domain. Okay, this is where we start. Wait. One last thing. Brandy? Find this out. So I'm going to send some questions to you if we end up not having our class tomorrow. I'm going to send some questions to you that will be part of the homework, including this one. Otherwise, it will be part of the practice tomorrow's class. Thank you.